Hey gorgeous, welcome back to my studio. If you are new here, my name is Talia Stanton and I'm a full-time artist based in Victoria, Australia. In this cozy art video, we are going to be painting Look for the Light, which is a painting inspired by The Last of Us. We are going for the prettiest clicker ever in this video. This episode of my artist diaries is super duper cozy and intimate. You get to see really close up footage of this painting being made. So I hope you get to learn something about my approach and feel free to follow along, just join me in the studio. I hope you're painting alongside me and yeah, enjoy the video. Okay, so this painting probably has to be one of my favorite pieces I've done in ages, in so long. And at this point of the process, I really had no clear-cut direction in mind other than just a really pretty clicker, and she's like cutesy and almost like girly, but not in a way, but also just can pay homage to this amazing series that has inspired me so much. So I began with a really gorgeous wash of this turquoise and some really beautiful limes and a little bit of like this burnt copper sort of feel to give it to pay homage to a bit of the violence in the series and also to just pay tribute to the set piece of the flooded city of Seattle. Typically in my painting process, this part calls for a layer of modelling paste to just smooth out the texture of the canvas. However, I've been searching for a gorgeous little alternative because it can be really difficult to nail every time, and when you do it wrong, you can kind of end up wasting a canvas, and if it's too thick, it does weird things, and if it's too thin, it does weird things. It's just a bit of a hassle. So to get that effect, to still have those really beautiful moments of texture, instead of going in with this marble paste, I'm simply going in with thick acrylic paint, very impasto, with these big, thick palette knives that I got from the Sydney art store. This technique left quite a bit of unique variation on the canvas, which was very welcome, so I decided to leave certain parts of this underpainting peek through to the very end. Especially that sweep of vermilion in the bottom left-hand corner with the little bit of that phthalo turquoise popping through. It sort of was reminiscent of the markings in the moth, which was, yeah, just very serendipitous. Using an array of fine-tipped Posca markers in a bunch of different colours that complemented the piece, I began to carve out the figure, the placement of the moths, and just the general placement of where I thought some of the clicker detailing mushroom bits were going to go. Then going in with a subtle glaze of transparent acrylic paint and a little touch of Caran d'Ache wax pastels to just make sure I was 100% happy with the placement of the colour. The process of this painting was very spontaneous, really organic, and I just allowed any of my intuitive, weird impulses to just happen on the canvas, which honestly I feel like the painting is so much better off for it. It's inspired me for future paintings where it can just let go a little bit and not worry about it being I must sound like a broken record, I swear. Yeah, just not being so tight with the application, and to leave early parts of the process showing and to paint over parts that you did love but you know that it's going to be in service for the greater good of the painting. So because this painting was getting really spontaneous, I made sure to refer back to some clicker references and to just make sure I had adequate reference material to make sure that I wasn't going too far off the deep end when it came to just the abstraction. It needed to have a little bit more clarity, so I referred back to those, took some gorgeous reference photos, and even went out to farmers markets to go find really unique mushrooms that a lot of farmers grow. But yeah, that is the general approach that I took with this painting, carving out some really fun things and just leaving parts of the abstract as the main figure of the portrait. And it wasn't until the painting moved onto oil paint did it really begin to come to life. But before we can do that, the foundations were laid with acrylic paint to just build up some textures, and when you build up a lot of texture when it comes to acrylic, you do need to wait for a little bit of time in order for the acrylic to cure enough before you can move on to oil paint. It's not something that a lot of people discuss, but it is just really important to keep in mind if you are looking to incorporate oil over acrylic painting into your practice. The rendering of these moths in acrylic took an entire studio day of painting, and I was trying to incorporate elements from the background colours into the foreground of the moth to just make it look like she is a part of this scene. If you are overlaying imagery in your portrait and you are pulling from a lot of different reference material, it is very crucial to make sure that you add elements from the background, from the portrait, from whatever it is that you're painting into those things to just make sure that it does look consistent and unified in that space, because otherwise it can just look like a sticker at times. When working with an abstract for your underpainting, it is a delicate dance to choose what parts of this abstract get to stay and what parts need to be removed. Once I was satisfied that the bones of the painting had been thoroughly laid out, then it was time to move on to oil paint to refine everything and make the portrait glow and make her sing. And this is truly where the face in particular just became something outstanding, and especially the mushroom fungi bits at the top, like, oh my gosh. While I've been working in this atelier, the big warehouse studio, a primary focus has been to improve my skills when it came to oil painting and to just become a lot more refined as an alla prima painter. So a lot of what was done on the face was painted in one layer with oils. So you guys ask a lot of questions about the supplies that I choose, the mediums that I love to work with, and when it comes to oil paint, my favourite brands are Gamblin, Michael Harding, Old Holland, and Langridge. But one of my staple colours is Water Green by Charvin. It is so beautiful. It is so lovely. If you are already familiar with my body of work and collect prints, you might know my painting Sweet as Dandelions. She's that yellowy, gorgeous girl, and the background is just Water Green by Charvin. It is that beautiful that you can just use it straight out of the tube. So if you are looking for something a little bit like extra and like cute, that is awesome. And yeah, finishing up the portrait, I was working with a lot of flat brushes and making sure the application of oils was really, really thick. Like really, really, really thick. And we're about to get like to the coolest part. So to do swirly sort of things when painting, I used to attempt to do it with acrylic, but it never really looked good. But with oil paint, because it's like wet and it's gooey and it's fine, you can pull from it so easy. So that's what I did for the mycelium mushroom sort of bits and bobs, and you can kind of see there is a little bit of abstraction still in there. You can see some of the splashes, you can see some of the wax pastel scribbles on the top, and the oil paint just gave it such a unique finish, and it made it look so elegant and lovely and so sweet. Yeah, I was just really, really proud of myself for doing that. And this is where I pulled from some of my references from our farmers market excursions. And it was so much fun to do those swirly bits. I'm excited to see where I could maybe take that direction in another place. But yeah, another painting. And then always sign your paintings with a 0 or 1 liner brush. Always. If you don't load up your signature brush properly, it is going to create broken lines. So this brush in particular had already had quite a few of its strands removed, so you can get extra fine lines. And another little special thing that I love to do is any color that I've used for the signature, I will add little secret tokens of it throughout the rest of the piece, so it looks really unified. One of the most frequently asked questions you guys have been asking me for a long time now is how do you choose your colors? How do you put like a random stripe of purple or something in the face, but it doesn't look purple when you just look at the whole thing and you have to look at it to notice that it's there? I honestly don't know. It's just, it comes out of me so naturally. I'm not sure how I would offer like to teach you guys that other than to just play around a little bit, honestly. Like fuck around and find out is kind of the motto in my studio, and it should be the motto in like so many other studios, because like experimentation and play is the best way to learn, and that's how I learned so much throughout this painting. And I hope you have enjoyed seeing her come to life and that you have learned something really lovely and something that you can take away into your own studio practice. If you would like to welcome a print of Look for the Light into your home or studio for inspiration, you can visit the link below in the description or go to taliastanton.com. I will see you again very soon for another studio vlog, but until then, happy painting.